You carry a silence inside you that no one seems to understand. Since you were young, you felt like a stranger in this world, a visitor in your own life. People spoke, laughed, touched, moved with such ease, while you stood there, observing everything as if from behind a veil. You smiled when expected, nodded in agreement, tried to mirror the emotions around you, but deep inside, something didn't quite fit. You sensed things others didn't. You questioned things most accepted, without thought, and you often found yourself staring into the distance, lost in a world too vast to explain with simple words. There's a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, but from being unseen. You tried to explain it before, the aching sense that there's more to you, that beneath the surface of small talk and polite smiles, an ocean stirs. But the words always fell short. They couldn't capture the way your soul feels too big for the roles you're asked to play. They couldn't express the way your heart aches when others only skim the surface, never daring to dive deeper. So, you learned to stay quiet. You learned to carry yourself with a quiet strength, pretending not to notice how often you're misunderstood, but you do notice. You always have. The truth is, you weren't born to fit in, you were born to awaken. You are a rare mirror of depth in a world addicted to distraction. While others chase approval, you chase authenticity. While others numb their shadows, you turn toward them, eyes wide open. That's why you feel things so deeply. That's why crowds drain you, and silence heals you. That's why ordinary life often feels like a dream you can't quite wake up from, because your path was never meant to be ordinary. There's something ancient inside you, something sacred. An inner fire that doesn't shout, it whispers. It whispers in your dreams, in the pages you read, in the moments just before sleep when the world goes quiet enough for your soul to speak. It calls you inward, into the depths of your being, asking you to remember who you are beneath all the masks you've worn to survive. You are never meant to be understood by everyone, because your journey is not everyone's journey. The feeling of being misunderstood is not a flaw, it's a signal. A sacred marker that your soul is on a different trajectory. You are not meant to follow the straight path carved by convention. Your spirit seeks the winding road, the mysterious forest, the hidden valley of the self. You are made for the inward journey, the transformation that only comes through descent into your past, your pain, your truth. You feel misunderstood because most people are still asleep. They haven't met their own shadow yet. They haven't dared to face the parts of themselves they've disowned, the anger, the fear, the shame, the deep grief buried beneath their laughter. But you always sensed there was more to the story. You could feel it in your bones, that the light cannot exist without the dark, that healing does not come from pretending to be whole, but from embracing the pieces of yourself you've long abandoned. You carry within you an archetype the world has forgotten: the wounded healer, the seeker, the mystic soul. And this path, though it is steep and lonely at times, leads to the most sacred kind of freedom, the freedom of becoming your true self. There is a battle that rages quietly within you, the battle between who you've been taught to be and who you truly are. The ego clings to roles, to rules, to appearances. It wants safety. It wants control. But the deeper self, the soul, longs for truth, for transformation, for wholeness. It doesn't care about appearances. It wants to be, and to be fully. You must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to be seen as strange, quiet, too intense, too emotional, too deep. Because the very things that make you feel out of place in the world are the things that make you whole. The very wounds you've tried to hide are the keys to your awakening. Every time someone misunderstood you, judged you, rejected you, it was a test of whether you would abandon yourself to belong to them, or whether you would stay loyal to the mystery within you. The pain of being misunderstood is a rite of passage for those called to know themselves. You feel this way because your soul is undergoing a transformation, one that most people never allow themselves to experience. You are not just growing, you are shedding. Shedding the illusions, the expectations, the borrowed identities. You are letting go of the self that was shaped by survival and stepping into the self that is shaped by essence. And this path is not linear. Some days, you'll feel powerful like a storm that cannot be silenced. Other days, you'll feel like a child lost, afraid, longing to be held. That is part of the process. You're not broken, you're becoming whole. And wholeness is not perfection, it is integration. It is the sacred union of light and shadow, of wisdom and innocence, of strength and vulnerability. You were born to dive deeper than most will ever dare, into the unconscious, into your dreams, into the forgotten corners of your inner world. And that depth can be isolating. Yes, but it is also beautiful. Because while others live on the surface, you live in meaning. You find beauty in silence, in symbols, in synchronicities. You speak the language of the soul, the language of myth, of archetype, of inner truth. The world may not always understand you, but the universe does. It speaks to you through signs, through intuition, through the sudden knowing that cannot be explained. You are never crazy. You are never too much. You are simply awake in a world that often prefers to sleep. And your awakening is a gift, even when it hurts, even when it isolates, even when it feels like no one sees you. Because in those quiet moments, when you are alone with your soul, you will hear the truth, that you are not here to be understood, you are here to understand. You are the mirror, the vessel, the alchemist. You take the pain and turn it into wisdom. You take the silence and fill it with meaning. You walk into the darkness not to escape the light, but to find the light hidden within it. That is the path of the inner healer, the one who transforms through self-awareness, the one who integrates the forgotten parts of humanity by first integrating their own. Yes, you have felt misunderstood your whole life, but maybe, just maybe, it's because your purpose is to understand life in a way that goes far beyond logic, beyond words, beyond what others can grasp. Maybe you are here to feel deeply, to see clearly, to awaken fully, and in doing so, to help others do the same. And maybe being misunderstood was never a curse. Maybe it was a sacred initiation, a soul calling you back to yourself. So the next time you feel unseen, unheard, or alone, remember this: the soul is not meant to be loud. It whispers in the dark. It lives in the spaces between words. It reveals itself in symbols, in dreams, in quiet moments of knowing. And when the world fails to see you, it's only because it cannot yet see itself. But you see. You always have. You see the pain beneath the anger, the beauty beneath the chaos, the soul beneath the surface. And that, my friend, is your gift. Don't let the world convince you to dim it. You are not made to be understood. You are made to remember, to awaken, to transform. And in that transformation, you will become the light that helps others finally see themselves. Even if they never see you fully, you will have seen yourself, and that is enough.